Nope, nope. Put your microphone.
Dr. Cash, they're ready.
Sorry.
Good morning. This is the textbook adoption workshop meeting that will begin. Today is March 23rd, March 13th, 2025. And we welcome everyone here and also the ones that are online. We will start the meeting with introductions of the commission members and opening remarks. And we would start with Ms. Laura Cordoza Moore.
Good morning, Laurie Cardoza Moore, and I was appointed by the Speaker, Sexton, and I represent the parents and citizens of Tennessee.
I'm Billy Bryan. I'm a high school teacher from Millington High School in West Tennessee, and I was appointed to the commission by Governor Lee.
Katie Capshaw, librarian, appointed by the Lieutenant Governor from Middle Tennessee.
Mike Bell from East Tennessee, and I was appointed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Linda Cash from Southeast Tennessee, and I was appointed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Kathy Hickey from East Tennessee, and I was appointed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Becky Atkinson, librarian, appointed by Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton.
Rebecca Farley, Cumberland County, appointed by Speaker Sexton.
Christy Wall, Assistant Commissioner of Academics for the department, representing Commissioner Reynolds.
Thank you. We appreciate everyone being here today. I also want to draw your attention to item number 2, the workshop agenda items. If you would preview those, and if you have any questions or anything, please let me know at this time. Thank you. Hearing no questions, we will move on to the textbook substitutions and turn that over to Mrs. Lee Houston.
So right now, there are no textbook substitutions.
Thank you. No substitutions. Now we're looking at item number 4. This is going to be fast. This is a good day. So this is recognition of Schedule E publisher official bid list. This is a preliminary list of various publishers who have submitted the requisite documentations to be considered for Schedule E. Those are located in your binder. If you would like to look at those and have any questions, I would turn that over to Ms. Houston.
That is behind number 3, if you're looking. If you have any questions. Okay, we will go on with the recognition of the
Since there are no questions regarding the official bid list or recognition of the Schedule E publisher, we will move on to item number 5, proposed commission policy updates. And I would turn that over to our attorney.
Good morning. You guys thought you were going to get out of here early, but then Dr. Cash turned it over to me. So in front of you today, you have 2 draft policies. So the first one is 2.500. That is minimum textbook cut scores. And then the second policy in front of you is 2.600, textbook and instructional materials adoption review process. The purpose behind the first policy, 2.5, is because before each adoption cycle officially starts, this commission always votes on what is acceptable for a textbook. Those cut scores are generally each textbook or instructional material must contain 100% of the academic standards for that course. And then also that textbook or instructional material has to meet 80% or higher on rubrics created by the Department of Education. So the policy, or the purpose behind this policy, is to draft it, get it in writing so that the commission can vote on it once and not always have to bring it up at the beginning of each adoption cycle. The purpose behind 2.600 is just to get in writing the adoption process and what that looks like, both from the publisher's end and then also the commission's end. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
So just to make sure, this is the policy we already have in place.
It is the rule. It is not in writing, but that is typically what happens during each adoption cycle.
So for the commission, as we begin looking at this every year, this is that I've been here, we have followed these rules and regulations and set them up, but they were having to be reviewed every time we adopted. So moving it from a discussion and a meeting approval, this puts it in policy and jointly reviewed this, it all would always stay. I do want to point out at any time that
Thank you.
just to add to that, when I spoke with our CTE directors, she said as we move forward through the CTE process, the ones that are heavily vetted will have more. So when you hit health sciences, when you hit some of those, she expects more to apply, which would be a good thing since those are some heavy programs in the high schools and now even in the middle school. So we look forward to this as it moves forward. Are there any more questions pertaining to the advisors? Don't miss have somewhere to be. Maybe. Okay. If there are no more questions regarding the workshop agenda, I just want you to review again that we looked at there were no textbook substitutions. On item 4, you have the recognition and schedule e-publisher official bid list. You have your proposed policies in your Schedule E advisories, which all of those will move to the regular item. So any questions? Okay, great, thank you. Hearing none, we will close the workshop agenda and move on to the regularly scheduled meeting. Okay, again, this is, well, I'm moving, I've lost my place. So it's our meeting agenda is open for the Textbook Commission's Instructional Materials Quality Commission for March 13th, 2025. We are live streamed for those who are online, and I want to point out that within this, we will follow the schedule. It relates back to the workshop agenda. So we will start with welcome and introductions. I call this meeting to order, and we will start to our left with Dr. Christy Wall.
Thank you. Christy Wall, Assistant Commissioner of Academics, representing the department, and Commissioner Reynolds.
Rebecca Farley, Cumberland County, appointed by Speaker of the House Sexton.
Becky Atkinson, Librarian, appointed by Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton.
Kathy Hickey, East Tennessee, appointed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Linda Cash, appointed by the Lieutenant Governor in Southeast Tennessee.
Mike Bell, appointed by the Lieutenant Governor from Southeast Tennessee as well.
Katie Capshaw, Librarian from Middle Tennessee, appointed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Billy Bryan, I'm a high school teacher at Millington Central High School in West Tennessee, appointed to the commission by Governor Lee.
Lori Cardoza Moore, appointed by Speaker Sexton, representing the parents and citizens of Tennessee.
Thank you. And with that, we could have a roll call vote. Mr. Shadden.
Dr. Linda Cash,
Here.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Here.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Here.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Here.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Here.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Here.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Here.
Mr. Daniel French, Dr. Kathy Hickey,
Here.
Dr. Cherry Robertson, Dr. Christy Wall.
Here. I noticed that I reversed our introductions to the commission, so we've already done that. My apologies. We will move on to item number 2, consent items. We would need a voice vote for the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, or I'm sorry, a voice vote? All in favor of the adoption of the agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing no opposed, we move on to item number 3. This is the textbook substitutions. There were none, so we have no votes. Ms. Houston, would you like to address that?
We've had none at this time for any substitutions.
Thank you. So there's no vote. We are now on item B, acknowledgement of Schedule E, official bid list. Any questions or concerns with the official bid list? Okay. That is just an acknowledgement. Hey, we don't have to vote on that one, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 4, I would like to read that pursuant to TCA 49-6-2201F. This is the first regularly scheduled meeting of the Textbook Commission for 2025, and as such, the members of this body shall elect a chair and a vice chair. At this time, we would take nominations for the election of a chair.
I nominate Dr. Linda Cash.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any more nominations? We need a roll call vote, please.
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. We are now moving on to the election of the vice chair. Do we have nominations for a vice chair?
I nominate Mike Bell.
Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Yes.
The motion passes.
We have an approval of the minutes from January 24th, 2025 as a special call meeting. Could I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote?
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item D, we have approval of the minimum textbook cut scores referred to in policy 2.50. Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote?
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item E, approval of textbook and instructional materials adoption review process, policy 2.600. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote?
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item F, approval of Schedule E advisory panelists. Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote?
Dr. Linda Cash,
Yes.
Ms. Becky Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Billy Bryan,
Yes.
Ms. Katie Capshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Lori Cardoza Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farley,
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Hickey.
Moving to item G, library materials appeal. Do we have any appeals?
We do not.
We do not. Note that the,
Madam Chair, may I say something?
Yes.
Quick? Thank you, Madam Chair. Interesting, I was, just for the commission's knowledge, you may have seen it. I saw an article in the paper just recently about a county in the state that was going to hear some appeals on some library books. And in the article, there was actually a link to the debate on the Senate floor. And I carried this bill as a senator. And one of the things that I said, and one of the things that I'm happy to see working out, is that appeals to this body would be rare. We intended local government. We intended the locals to be able to take care of this by setting that process up. And honestly, I hope it never reaches this point. Now, when it does, it's our responsibility then to deal with those appeals. But I'm glad they're being handled at the local level. Just wanted to make that comment, Madam Chair.
thank you. Any other discussion on that? I concur with Mr. Bell. I'm pleased to see that the districts are handling that and the boards are handling it. Although if one does come to us, we'll be thoroughly prepared and be ready to go. And I appreciate your knowledge and sharing that with us too. It should be local decisions
Yeah.
as much as we possibly can. Moving on, item number 5. Do we have anyone requesting to speak for public comments? No public comments. Item number 6, 2025 commission meeting dates. If you would look, there will be a special called meeting on July 30th, 2025. Ms. Houston, is that a hold or do we actually have items on July? I know that we've used it as a holding pattern sometimes.
We have items on there.
Okay, all right. So July 30th, 2025. And then our first regularly scheduled meeting is on September the 12th, 2025. Any discussions, any concerns over those dates? Thank you. We do know that things do happen, but we hope that everyone can be there for those. Reminder, we have to have 8 to have a quorum to have a voting session. Seeing no discussions on the meeting dates, are there other business from the commission? Anyone have any comments or discussions that you would like to share? I just have one, and it's related to the CTE process, and I want during the adoption, every time we adopt now, we will have something with CTE in there, and CTE is a very different type of adoption process because most of our CTE courses are tied to industry standards. So there may be some discussions in the future about, you know, if we have to look at those a little differently, just bringing that to the surface, especially when I talk to the CTE directors, the industry standards are what they push kids to so that they can get jobs and be in careers when they finish. So just know some of the CTE material may not fall into our typical rules and guidelines that we would have to have discussions about during those times. One of them being that we may not have as many publishers apply because they're such in-depth pieces that might cover one area but might not cover like a level 2. So it may be a different book for a level 2 than it is for a level 1. And I promised my CTE director I would be sure that you guys understood that CTE changes fast. So, and that's she will appreciate me sharing that with y'all. So thank you so much. Is there any other business to discuss? Okay, hearing none, I bring this meeting to a close and we are adjourned for March 13th, 2025. Thank you.